Hey bloomers, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new, my name is Azalea, but the full thing is Blooming with Azalea. Welcome. I'm happy to have you. And for my oldies but goldies, how are you today? Hope you are doing well. Hope everyone is doing well today. So today we are going to be talking about letting go of control and trusting in faith. And if you can't say amen, just say ouch. It's Holy Week, so we're gonna hop straight into this video, but I promise I will not go down your throats preaching. But if you can't say amen, just say ouch. So I have a question. How many of you love being in control and try to always have control of everything that goes on in your life? Like you just have that strong desire, like you have to be in control of everything. Me, I am one of them. I am very much guilty. And there is nothing like when you love to be in control, but you end up in circumstances or situations where you cannot be in control. And and it's so funny that I'm talking about this today because this past week, when I went to church, I went to Bible study, and my pastor, one of the pastors, his name is Pastor Clark, he came up to me and he was like, let go and let God. He's like, let God control this mind. He's like, it's your mind. Let God control your mind. He's like, be still. And I'm just like, sir, only if you know how bad I just want to be able to shift and shake and turn things around right now, but he just was on point. And it was just so coincidental. Like he said that to me, whatever day that was last week, because I'm just like, yeah, I hear you, God. I hear you, and there are many of us who just want to be in control of every situation, every circumstance. Like I said, there are a lot of us who wish we can control what people say about us, what they do about us, and like different things like that. And it sucks that we can't, but I know that growing up, even up until now, one thing was I always try to lean onto my own understanding instead of seeking wise counsel or praying about it. That I caught myself on, actually, seeking wise counsel. But I always used to try to lean onto my own understanding rather than just kind of like sitting still and being like, okay, God, what is it that you're trying to do, or tell me? And then the second thing was trying to put my hand in a situation or trying to control the outcome of a circumstance. And one thing I have come to realize, even now, even this past week, is that, as I sat down, I thought about it. I said, Odette, like, you realize that, in the past, like, there were certain things that you would try to control and certain things you try to fix. And the more you try to control them, the more you try to fix them, it just didn't work out in your favor, to the point where you got so frustrated, you just said, to hell with it. And then everything started working out. And I realized that sometimes in this spiritual journey, in this walk of faith, sometimes letting go of controlling, having faith is the answer to certain circumstances and situations. Let me put it like that. In some cases, sometimes you may need to put your foot down, but even after you put your foot down, it's still up to you to make that conscious decision to say, okay, I'm letting go of this. And it's like, all right, God, it's time for you to work. So what benefit do we truly gain from trying to have control? Because sometimes situations are not for us to control and put our hands in, but for us to learn certain lessons, for us to see things for what they really are, not what we want them to be, but for what they truly are, and for us to kind of snap back into reality a little bit and to see like things are not what we thought they were. And sometimes it's just for us to just kind of like catch ourselves. And one thing that I've had to realize too, and this is something that is a lesson that you guys can take too, is sometimes you have to get to a point, and this also can piggyback off when you surrender into God. when you surrender to God, you have to come to a point where it's like, okay, God. And sometimes you have to say it every day. God, I surrender my mind to you. I surrender this to you. I surrender that to you. This piggybacks off surrendering to God, okay? Just for those who are curious. And if you haven't watched that video, you should watch that too. It's a really good video. But sometimes you honestly and truly have to get to a place where you're just like, all right, God, this is what's happening. This is how I feel. This is what I'm praying for. And then you have to get to a point where you just say, you know what, God, I've prayed about it. I fasted about it. I meditated on it. I've cried. I've wept. I probably cursed a little bit about it. I am seriously going to be still in you and let you deal with this. And you have to remember, you have to give God time to work. And this was something else I had to learn very recently. You have to give God time to work. Though you don't see anything happening, it doesn't mean that nothing is actually happening. You have to give him time to work, because before he even say, okay, let me do this, we already come back. God, why does this thing happen yet? Like, why haven't you turned this around yet? Do you not see? Like, we don't give God time to work. And this is the issue that I have. Like, one thing is, y'all know I love Ecclesiastes, and it talks about there's a time and season for everything. And God's timing is definitely everything. You have to give God time to work. You don't give him time to work, then the longer it's going to take. So sometimes you do have to kind of like pause for a minute and be like, all right, God, let me just be patient. And recently I found myself saying, God, I ain't gonna lie to you. And I just talk to God like he is my father. I just talk to him like he's my friend. I just talk to him like he's my significant other. I just talk to him like he is just someone I have to get comfortable with. And I would look up to the heavens. I'm like, God, I ain't gonna lie to you. I do not like your timing. I don't like waiting on your time. It sucks. It hurts. It's painful. It makes me feel impatient. And I know you've given me a lot of patience, and I've learned to have so much patience, but that's okay. And I felt so much better when I admitted it to him, because God already knows that I don't like waiting on his timing. I don't like, but God's timing is everything. God's timing is always perfect. We may not like it. We may not agree with it. But sometimes God's timing is way better, because I realized that when you do it, it's like, okay, But when God does it, when God turns things around, when he finally takes control of a situation, he now puts his hand into certain things, he'll be like, I couldn't think of any better way, because our ways are not his ways. Our thoughts are not his thoughts. His actions are not our actions. And I've had experiences like that before, right? Literally sat and I was like, God, I couldn't think of any better way to do it. My way would have been a little more, but the way you did it just now couldn't be any better. And sometimes it's the way we want to do things is probably going to cause us to get in trouble. So sometimes it is better to kind of like let God do what he does best. Let him be God. And I just want to say, and I'm not looking at y'all as I say this, I'm going to look at this beautiful coconut tree that we have, because I am talking to myself when I say this, but I'm also talking to y'all, which is, it's better to be still in God and let go. Like, just let go. Take a deep breath and just let go. It doesn't mean that you don't care anymore. You still care. You still wishing for the best. But sometimes you have to get to the point where you have to be still and let go and let God. And to be still in God, knowing that he's in full control, is you trusting and exercising his faith. Because everything works out for those who love the Lord, one. And any situation that the enemy went for bad could be turned around and used for the greater good. You could be in a situation or a circumstance right now where it feels like the world is about to end, but there's just something about knowing that God could turn it around and use that to teach you a lesson, or he could turn it around to work it in your favor, even when people or persons were trying to make you look like the bad guy, when you're in situations where people are talking about you, Listen, it's Holy Week. Some of y'all about to find out who y'all Judas is. Let me just say that right now. Some of y'all about to find out who y'all Judas is. So look out for that kiss on the cheek, eh? But there's nothing like being still in God and just knowing that He is gonna work it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when they say be still, it means don't question. It means don't question. Stop talking about it. Stop. Where these mosquitoes come from? Oh my gosh. It means, don't think about, try your best not to think about it. Don't talk about it. Don't entertain it. Don't try not to frustrate yourself about it. Being still means just ride in the wave and know that, like I always say, it's gonna work out. Like, honestly and truly, it's gonna work out some way, somehow. It may not work out the way that you want it to work out. It may not work out the way we are thinking that it's gonna work out, but it's gonna work out. But in order for God to work, you have to let go. You have to allow Him to be God. As a matter of fact, a lot of us, and many of us, can be in circumstances. Many of you can be in circumstances or situations right now where you're waiting on God to work, but you know why He hasn't started working on it yet. You know why He hasn't turned anything around yet, or you may see little bits and pieces, but it hasn't come into full fruition yet. It's because you still have your hand on it. You still mixing yourself in it. You still bothering with it. You still fooling with it. Stop fooling with it. That's why God ain't do what He want to do. He ain't fix what He needs to fix. That's why He hasn't even turned the situation around yet, because He is simply just waiting on you to let go. He is waiting on you to stop fooling with it. He waiting for you to stop mixing yourself up in it. So remember, the next time you feel like God taking too long to do something, and I'm talking to myself when I say this right now, the minute you feel and you get in that moment where you feel like, okay, God, you taking long to do this thing, I about to put my hand in this, stop for a minute and truly ask yourself, okay, have I even given God a chance to even put a glimpse of His anointing in this? Have I even given Him a chance to even start? And that is something that you have to remember. I am sorry, guys, I'm starting to scratch, but the mosquitoes have located my flesh. They have located my blood. And now they're out for war. They are out to bite me and to get me. So yeah, y'all gotta excuse me and my scratching now. But sometimes we don't give God a chance, and that's why He ain't start working. And I've come to realize, even sitting with y'all and talking to y'all right now on this good Holy Week, I've realized that's probably why God hasn't allowed the fruition of certain things, or He hasn't allowed certain things to happen, because I was not being still. I will admit right now, I was not being still. I was not letting go. I was not letting God. And now I think a part of it was because I know myself, and I know when I do let go and I let God, sometimes I take on this bitter attitude of I don't care no more. I could care less about anything, and my attitude becomes very negative. And it comes with maturity, it comes with growth, and it comes with the territory. Letting go, letting God, but still, you don't have to have a stink attitude towards whatever it is that you're going through, what you're experiencing. So I'm talking to myself, but I'm talking to y'all. I'm gonna leave this here with you guys today. Let's release the grip of wanting to be in control. Let's release that desire of wanting to be in control of every situation, every circumstance, from something someone may have done to you or did to you, someone may have said about you, to, you trying to fix everything, but some things you can't fix. Sometimes it's just better to pray about it and let God do what He does best. Let's learn to just leave it to God. Let's learn to kind of just, all right, I've done everything that I could have possibly done. I've prayed, I fasted, I sowed my seed, I did this, I did that, I did whatever. I probably gone to the ocean and dipped my head 7 times. Whatever it is that you did, surrender it all to God and be still. And in this season, we're going to have to learn to be still a lot. In this season, we're going to learn to have to let God be in control and know that everything is working out in our favor. Even if it seems sticky, even if it's not what you would have imagined, just know that it's going to turn around and it's going to be better. And your ways are not his ways. Our ways are not his ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. And know that the blessing is there. The blessing is coming. Whatever it is, the greater the warfare, the greater the blessing is what they say. And that's what they say at my Bible study church. That's what they love to say. So I love you all so much. Thank you for watching this video. Let's remember, again, like I said, let faith have its way. Trust in faith. Trust in God. Give him a chance to work. Give him a chance to do what he do best and be your dad. Let him be your father, your leader, your savior, your bread of life. Let you be in your position. You take several seats back. You have a part to play in your life, but he also has a greater part to play in your life. So you do your part, and when you've done your part, you leave it to him to do what he needs to do. And in the meantime, just be patient and focus on something else. Get distracted on doing something else and deal with whatever else you got going on. All right? Catch a flight if you need to. Sleep for the rest of the day if you have to. I don't know. Just distract yourself. Focus on something else. Don't worry about what you're going through and dealing with. Yes, it's hard. It's easier said than done, but focus on something else. All right? I love you guys. And